SoaR is just struggling to be able to find anything, Zaxi.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. I mean, SoaR has the highest ceiling, I feel, of any team, but also the lowest of lows. I mean, the Odin pick, it's just not doing it for me either. I think they need to reevaluate their drafting phase a little bit, make some changes here and there. I'm not really liking the Odin. I don't think they're playing around the cage as well as they should be. So I think I want to see them run something else, something that Uzzy can dominate lane with a little more. You know, if he wants to go to that Nike, something that can silence out her clear. And it's just, they got to do something. I mean, it's win or go home.
Yeah, and I'd say probably for me as well, I expected a lot more from SoaR, but I think part of that is also kind of SoaR, I think, expecting a lot more from themselves. A big issue that I feel like they're falling victim to is taking scrims a little bit too seriously. And I mean, I'm just glad they finally decided to make the change though. That Zeus ban coming out, it you know, might be 2 games a little bit too late, but at the same time, it is definitely very important that they take that away.
No, you know what? I'm going to give them the credit here. They're adapting, right? Like, that was the most important thing. This does, unfortunately, leave open, you know, the Ra potentially here. Maybe it goes to SoaR. Maybe they'll just nab it so that this way they can keep it away from the mid on Eager. I don't know. But at the very least, it shows that they are evolving as a team, and they're having that conversation and said, listen, this is a serious problem. We have to take care of it.
Yeah, and Caliber, a very unorthodox god pool, not known for playing a lot of Ra. So it'll be interesting to see if Eager elects to not ban Ra and dare SoaR to play it. Or, you know, if they do leave it up and SoaR doesn't play it, I guarantee Eager will play it. So it'll be interesting to see what they ban here.
I can imagine that Eager would also probably, if SoaR opted to go ahead and take away that Ra pick, Eager as well would have Chronos open, and AirCougar has been playing phenomenally with that Chronos, so I can imagine that Eager would probably be looking to prioritize that more so than anything else, just because of the fact that he's been playing so well with it.
Yeah, and they banned the Jingwei, and it's going to be the first pick, Batz for Chapo, a god that he loves, just bringing heavy CC to the table, which I like. And there it is, the Ra hovered over for Eager, and like you said, I would love to see the Chronos too. Cougar's been doing too much work on that Chronos. Ra Chronos here, for me, would be the perfect 2, or, like I said, I've said it all weekend, Eager loves their heal comps, and they play their heal comps better than anyone else, and you really do not want to let them have this. I don't know, is SoaR may be forced into the Odin here.
See, here's the thing though, is that I feel like there are ways to deal with healing composition, and I don't think that Odin is necessarily the best way to go, because Uzzy has been having a lot of issues. I'm granted the Odin could still be a flex pick, but he has been having a lot of issues trying to get this Odin up and running. And a lot of the problems where SoaR are like tending to fall at is they don't really have enough burst damage once they get members from Eager inside that Odin ring, and if you don't have the burst damage to follow up on the Odin ring, you're just gonna lose no matter what, because once that healing composition just falls out, I mean, the team's 100% within, you know, seconds due to that Sylvanus Ra heal.
Yeah, and if you let a healing composition get even a little bit ahead, it just begins to get so difficult to even damage them, because they're so ahead, they have so much healing, there's nothing to do. Eager will take away the Guan Yu here. But we saw game 1, Caliber played the Scylla, but he was just so behind. Like you said, there just wasn't enough damage. He just couldn't do anything because he was so far behind the Zeus.
Smart man, though, by the way, from SoaR, getting rid of that Chronos, realizing, hey, if they weren't going to pick it in that first wave because they opted to go for the Sylvanus and the Awilix, makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that was definitely, you know, like you said, SoaR showing that they have started to do the adaptations. You know, they took away the Nike as well. So that's already 3 very massive picks that Eager were having a lot of influence in the game on. And I think it's awesome to see that SoaR would go ahead and just ban those right away. But AirCougar still sticking to that mage ADC. And Soul is a very interesting pickup. I think that it puts a lot of pressure into the duo lane for SoaR, considering that you have Sylvanus, you have Soul. That's some really fast clear, and you can see Cupid coming out on the side of SoaR Gaming, and you know, it's unconventional, I would say. I can see the mindset behind it, which I think it's a very solid idea to try and get the lockdown AoE for the cripple, you know, get some damage going in that Odin ring. But at the same time, I'm not sure how Cupid is going to fare against such a heavy pressure lane.
Wouldn't a Rama have been good here, you know, with the ult? Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but it just feels like Cupid just has been underperforming.
Rama would have been good here, and one thing about this Cupid Soul matchup is that when Cupid uses his ultimate, SoaR's third ability is slow immune. So StormyRays is going to have a hard time finding the solo kills just based on the fact that he's not going to be able to slow SoaR with the ultimate.
All right, well, guys, Zaxi, first for you. Does EGR end it right here? Does Eager end this final?
I feel like Eager has everything they want. I think Eager takes it.
That draft from Eager is looking pretty strong, and as much as I would hate to see a 3-0, because I love seeing best of 5s, especially after yesterday, but I feel like Eager have the upper hand in this one.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the desk. Who's going to come out on top? Can SoaR force a Game 4, or will Eager be your Smite console champions? It's time to start the game, and let's send it over to our casters.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Eager is one game away from crowning themselves the Smite console world champions, and thus far, they have really showed up SoaR, to be quite frank.
They have the momentum. We saw yesterday, though, a little bit of spice. You know, Obey had a 2-0 lead, but then Eager came back, and that's PC side of things finding 2 of their own.
We do see Chapo on the Hun Batz again, and in his semifinals, he looked great on it. He was so aggressive, and maybe it's easier for him to have this aggressive playstyle on the Hun Batz, so I'm going to be looking at him this game.
I love the way best of 5 metas always develop, because now we see the Hun Batz being first picked all of a sudden. Before we see, you know, the Thor band, Susanoo being picked, Hun Batz now being prioritized. We saw what a great job myflin did with that god last game.
So also banned out Ra every single game, and now Team Eager have gotten the Ra. I'm going to be interested to see how good Marine is with it.
They've also banned the Zeus away after the tremendous impact Delta Marines had with it the last 2 games.
And once again, the 5v5 in the start. They want to look for a pick once again.
They have to be able to get the wards off that they really need to. They've been so consistent about positioning themselves just to see if they can get it very far off, but at the same time, you don't want to get caught out of position.
Oh.
Forcing the jump there out of
Get the
Uzzy.
jump. It's all right. You usually get your jump in the start anyway, so that's all right getting the jump right there. I think that's also why Uzzy went so far up. It was actually because he wanted the ward down, so didn't really matter too much. He just got the ward down.
You want to be able to see what relics your opposition has. We see both solo laners having the Wrath, both junglers with the Purification. I'm a little surprised that Uzzy continues to play the Odin in the solo lane between Uzzy and BroChacho. Both of them could play the Terra and the Odin.
I actually, for the first time, like the Odin pick. You have the healing from the Ra, from the Sylvanus, not too many mobilities onto Team Eager, so I really like the Odin pick for
but
once.
At the same time, BroChacho, if he were to play the Odin on support, you would see him in the mid lane a little bit more often trying to find the cages, whereas if Uzzy's the Odin, he's going to rotate probably like around level 12 or later, which could allow Delta Marine to go off.
And Terra actually has a little bit of a kind of matchup against the tier.
Exactly, because you cannot get knocked up whenever you have your stones available to you. So that would be interesting to see how that one would pan out.
Also, the Terra is good against the Sylvanus ultimate, so that's also good right there.
It's going to be able to make sure you don't get caught in an awkward position. So you have to be able to see if you're SoaR. What advantages do you really go for here?
I mean, right now, SoaR have the Odin. I want to see Uzzy really starting to rotate to this mid lane, even at 5 really early. Maybe losing a little bit fine, but getting those possible picks onto the Ra and Sylvanus is really going to be good.
Solo lane, though, we're going to see Uzzy and Chapo waiting for maybe Dwurst to look for the Fearless, but instead just going to clear the wave, look for the rotation as well. We saw the Gremlins go down earlier on, but they have to be careful with the positioning because off of the mini-map could potentially run into Delta Marine and myflin.
And Celeber, for once in this time, he has so much setup at Scylla, so he's going to be able to hit every single spell. Terra is really good at setting up, and same as Batz.
You have to be careful, though, with the Hun Batz Fear No Evil. You have to have the perfect communication, because if you utilize the Fear No Evil as the Amamatsu comes out, you could completely negate that big, important cooldown.
Right.
Dwurst getting the knock-up onto Uzzy there. Uzzy, though, has a level lead over Dwurst at this stage in the game. Not too worried about taking some poke, and in fact, that's the wave cleared down on Dwurst.
That's what you want to try to do against the tier in the early game. Abuse the fact that, you know, he's not the strongest early game god. He has been modified to be able to utilize that stance switch without putting a point into it, so he does have a better laning phase, but he has 10 less physical power and 10 less defense as well.
Oh, pull in there onto StormyRays. BroChacho gets a good wall to stop the aggression out of AirCougar and Jellly.
And it seems like in this game, we see a more normal style. The dual lane is actually a dual lane for once, and the mid jungle is starting to join together, and the soul lane is a soul lane. So this is interesting to see. Everybody's just playing so passive, taking their own farm, not really doing anything.
There's a lot of pressure on both of these two teams right now. Team Eager, they're one game a win from their championship titles. Obviously, SoaR, they still want to be able to contend and get a championship of their own. So they're still feeling each other out. Heading into the 3-minute mark, buffs are about to respawn. We could potentially start seeing some invades as Eager secure themselves the fire elementals.
Yeah, I think Chapo still want to play aggressive, but on the other hand, he's seen maybe I've been a little bit too excited, so take it a little bit back. But still, I want to see the aggressive plays coming out from him. That's the way they're going to win.
Gotta wait for the wards to be able to find the rotations from Eager, wait for somebody to get caught, isolated, out of position, and that's going to be the key moment for Chapo to start jumping in there and look for those fear no evil plays, especially with the damage off the back of Shaliber.
And this time with the Terra, it's going to be way easier to run down a Ra than a Zeus, because Ra doesn't have the same AoE damage as Zeus have, so it's just going to be way easier for SoaR to collapse on them.
Like you mentioned, here comes an invade straight out of SoaR, utilizing the ultimate from Terra. I'm a monster still being held onto. They could utilize it just to secure the speed buff.
He's actually off the mark with it, but the crush is going to be enough to secure that speed buff there for SoaR Gaming.
They did use 2 ultimates, so free ultimates, so they probably have to fall back from this.
Jellly slightly off the mark with the pull. Shaliber just barely dodging a crucial moment of the game. So right side Harpies going in the way of Eager, with a rotation from AirCougar though still coming online after he cleared the left side.
Oh, and I like this from Team Eager. They realized that so many ultimates from SoaR is down. They want to look for an invade here and get this speed buff from myflin.
Welcome to return. Speed buff of your own. You get 1 to food.
Uzzy perhaps looking for a jump in. Snipe comes through from Delta Marine just to secure that speed buff and prevent any kind of steal.
Fine Snipe, just securing that speed buff is really important. Now they got a 1-for-1, so overall that's just fine.
Clean disengaged by StormyRays. He starts the gold, but he took 1. If he had enough health to survive 1 more in hand, he would pass the Gold Fury to ElSoarchapo, and they could potentially use the shell to mitigate more of that damage and keep going for the objectives, because we saw Team Eager on the right-hand side. Do you think that they had a window there?
They could have done it. They could have done it. Eager had no war control whatsoever, but still it's really risky because you lose all the control. The Gold Fury is not that efficient right now, so just leaving it and going back is a safe call.
AirCougar this game doesn't have his Cronus we've seen him played in the last 2. Instead got a Soul. Talk to me a little bit, Tolly, about the differences between these 2 characters.
Kronos just has a second life with the rewind, obviously. Soul wants to be able to control the wave. It's so hard to get away from the Stellar Burst, especially Cupid. The range of the Cupid Harp Bomb, you have to be a little bit closer, so you're able to really control the wave and reposition StormyRays and try to outbox them. Whereas we saw in the Kronos, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to try to angle your stun at the right timing.
Right, it's pretty much the same overall type of character. And when you come to the team fight, you want to go in and just go all burst, and then with the Soul you get the Aegis or the free Aegis, and then on the Kronos you just basically ultimate back.
And now just the steroid basically between the Kronos and the Soul. You're relying on your passive for Soul, the 100% heat mark, to be able to control any sort of skirmish or any sort of objectives push, whereas Kronos has the accelerate.
2 men of Eager squad out here. Here's Chapo looking for the kill. I'm a monster land. Jellly taking a lot of damage. The crush is enough from Shaliber to secure first blood for SoaR Gaming.
Very important first blood for SoaR indeed. AirCougar forced to purify, a jump over the wall from Chapo. He wants the second one, he gets it.
Dwurst is here, knock up onto Chapo. The pull almost comes through from myflin, but the purification is enough to save Chapo's life. Shaliber, another great crush. There's the ultimate from StormyRays. Dwurst just manages to get out with the Lawbringer.
And that's the setup I was talking about from SoaR. The Terra setting everything up for the Scylla, and he basically hit every single spell, so insta-kill onto Jellly.
No ultimates available for Eager at this stage. Looking for the Gold Fury. SoaR Gaming get it. myflin trying to get a return kill, but SoaR take the first Gold Fury.
That was a really close wrath. There was a small window that myflin could have potentially just thrown the 3, find the steal, and we would have had a highlight play right there for Team Eager.
Oh yeah, if SoaR didn't get that there, we would definitely be tilted again.
2 kills and not being rewarded the Gold Fury, but overall great job. Heading into the 7-minute mark now, SoaR building slowly off of a 1,500 gold lead.
Right, and instead of SoaR getting an early lead like before they're even level 2, now they get it during the game, and it seems like they're a little bit more comfortable with the picks they have.
That's what you need to do to be able to get back into this set. Make the necessary slow steps. It's like you're climbing a staircase. You know, you got to get to the 3rd floor, but you can't go from the 1st to the 3rd without getting to the 2nd.
And I also told you guys that I really thought that SoaR was going to ban that Zeus because it seemed like that was the trouble. Every time they went on him, they just turned around and killed SoaR. Right now they have the Rod. They don't have the same potential.
And more importantly, it's also the first pick Batz out of ElSoarchapo. Do you think that was the key to making them a little bit more comfortable?
Right.
Be No Evil and Cage combination out of SoaR Gaming. Dwurst tries to get the Fearless, but there's nowhere for him to run. Excellent pick there from SoaR Gaming. In the mid lane, though, Shalaba barely manages to get away. Delta Marine off the mark there with his snipe.
And that's a great job from SoaR because the fact that they got one, they didn't lose Shalaba in the process. They're able to recuperate.
Shalaba should have been dead there because he was in the ultimate of the Sylvanus, so the Ra's missing that snipe. Delta Marine, why have they been betting Ra then?
You have to be able to communicate perfectly. Maybe they did it at the same time, but overall, you have to execute those cooldowns accordingly. You cannot drop such an important kill because if Delta Marine gets ahead, we know what he's capable of.
And I've just been thinking about something. Why did SoaR ban Ra if they pick Odin every single game?
Exactly. You basically counter it. You have 100% anti-healing reduction inside the cage. You would have to force somebody from Eager to be able to get the Phantom just to allow Ra the safety to get out of the cage. So it's kind of like they're out-drafting themselves. But now in this game, they've allowed the Ra and complemented the Odin on top of it.
I like the helm start here from Shalaba on this Scylla, giving him a lot of early penetration into the frontline heavy Team Eager.
Right, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going into the Book of Truth. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the Soul Reaver to get that early burst off, get the one-shot potential up. And yeah, both ways it's a good pickup.
That's what you have to do as Scylla. Just utilize as much damage as you can get in your kit. You have the Crush, you have the Ama Monster. Wait for ElSoarchapo to set you up. We also have Chapo with his Fear No Evil.
And I feel like SoaR should right now go for the pick, start forcing the purification before Team Eager is hitting that level 12, because when they get the Aegis, they can survive the burst way easier. Aegising a full Scylla combo is going to be huge for them later.
SoaR here perhaps looking for a flank attempt on Eager, but they don't realize AirCougar's in the area. StormyRays coming through, just spots him out, and he actually wins the, AirCougar wins the ward battle there. Left-hand side mid-camps are going to be the point of contention. Excellent walls there from Brochacha. He's myflin around the backside, doesn't knock up anyone, does some damage to Chapo. Oh my goodness, the burst is real from SoaR Gaming.
Absolutely deleted. myflin was expected to get off the damage and to retreat, but none of his teammates were around. Nice damage coming out of Uzzy. Gonna get negated slightly by Jellly, but the rest of SoaR comfortable with that first pick.
Yeah, just a good. Oh, what a snipe. He gets them and oh, sweet.
Does the damage, steals both of the Harpies. Small win, but now he's not going to have the snipe for the speed buff invade.
Uzzy knocked into the wall. There's the walls from Brochacha. Uzzy trying to find something here. Jellly's just running through the team of SoaR Gaming. Speed buff did fall their way. I'm a Monster comes through, but it's just off the mark. Jellly knocks up one, and Jellly stuck in the cage still. There's no escape for the Sylvanus.
Heal, though, from the Raw, still keeping him up for so long, but finally the overhand smash finds an AirCougar from behind. He's trying to find any sort of damage. Delta Marine rooted in place. Shalaba escapes away for now. Lawbreaker trying to chase out Uzzy, finding Delta Marine.
Dwurst gets the kill onto Chapo, and now SoaR Gaming need to disengage here. Uzzy so low here through the wall. It's myflin looking for the feather. Excellent ultimate from StormyRays prevents the feather step from coming through.
2 for 1. Uzzy barely getting away from that one. StormyRays realized he couldn't really chase it down. myflin, he still wants blood. He sees Uzzy jumps into tier 2. He sees that the speed buff was so close to being stolen. Nice little attempt there. Great job by SoaR overall in that team fight.
And now both teams are just going to fall back, but overall, a misplay by Shalaba. He could have gotten the ultimate in before the shell from the Sylvanus. He misses the ultimate, the Sylvanus get the shell off, and he basically takes no damage. Buying time for Team Eager to get the ADC there and just basically collapsing on him.
We talked about the communication issues before in mid for Eager between Delta Marine and Jellly, but there was more miscommunication between Chapo and Shalaba because of the fact that both of those ultimates were used at the same time. They couldn't find the Ama Monster reset. They could have potentially won that team fight even more than they did. 2 for 1 could have been a 3 for 1.
I mean, SoaR Gaming is lucky. There was 2 people really low in that fight, so overall they're lucky getting out of that fight like that. It could have been way worse.
Absolutely.
Gold Fury being looked at again by Team Eager. They have the vision control around the area, but SoaR Gaming have a few wards of their own, so they know that Eager's in the area, going to prevent them from committing to that objective.
And Caliber is finally ahead now. He's playing so aggressive. He is comfortable on this guy right now, and well, we've seen him playing it so much, and being ahead for once is just going to do good for him.
Look at the proxy coming out of Uzzy.
What is
so comfortable to be
same
able.
with Dwurst.
He first he did it between tier 1 and tier 2. Then he did it between tier 2 and Phoenix. So now he's going to be able to out-rotate Dwurst slightly.
But the reason why Uzzy can do this is because if Team Eager rotates to the right lane, they are going to be going for the goal for you. SoaR have the wall control, they have the sustain from the Terra, and they have the damage from the ADC to kill the goal for you. So if they were rotating to the right lane, instant goal fury.
You have to bait that out, especially while your teleport is still available. Wrath available for both soul laners, so it's going to be exciting once these teams start grouping up around the goal fury. Level 12 starting to come online for some of these characters. We're going to see the second relics, and now around the fire giant, just a poke off between
healing
soul
up.
laners.
There's no real damage close here that can really burst down these solo laners at this point. Shalaba is around the area though. Brochacho roots in Jellly. Crush does a fair bit of damage to Jellly.
Trying to get any sort of poke off, maybe continue finding the CC, but without Chapo, it's really difficult to confirm any sort of kills. At this point, you're just draining Jelly's mana, which is also good in the long run.
As well as that though, there's not that much anti-heal online from SoaR at the moment other than that Odin cage, so even though they might be looking for poke, it's not as effective as it might be once we start seeing some of these second relics come
Uzzy
online.
might be in trouble though, getting caught in a 1v2 situation, getting rooted into the Fearless combo. Still has his jump, but saving it because of the fact that he knows myflin can pull him back in, but the chase is on. The Lawbreaker comes out, utilizing his own ultimate, but myflin jumping over it.
myflin looking for the kill here, knocks up Uzzy, no relic available. Uzzy knocked up again by Dwurst and put in the ground by myflin.
Finally, though, SoaR starts the Gold Fury, but I think it was a little bit too late because there's 3 members from Eager all around. AirCougar utilizing that Supernova, dispersing SoaR.
And this is so positive for Eager because Dwurst still has his Wrath online. No Wrath available for SoaR here, so this should be a clean Gold Fury. Gold Fury getting very low. Fear no evil though from Chapo. I'm a monster down, but it doesn't do any damage due to the shell. Gold Fury still leashed here. Dwurst taking so much damage. StormyRays picks the kill. Delta Marine gets the snipe through, and SoaR Gaming need to get out.
Caliber escapes, he roots and crushes myflin. One in here connects, but it doesn't matter. The jump finds Caliber.
Brochacho taking a lot of damage. The Wisp, are they going to be enough here onto Brochacho to put him in the ground? It doesn't matter though. Delta Marines here, 1 in hand will do it, and he gets in with a Celestial Beam.
And
Team
that was
Eager.
the 3-man Ra snipe coming out there. So huge for her.
Uzzy is back though. He has the cage. He has Jellly with 1, 2, 3 in hand. He has to get away though. He utilizes the shield. He's not done. He gets the double. He stops the gold. He finds the double. Chapo around the corner as well. Delta Marine, not enough mana or cooldowns to find the kill. He's looking for the snipe.
Looking for the Celestial Beam, not going to find it, just a little bit off the mark there, and Uzzy showing just such complete control over this character.
Yeah, he realizes that Delta Marine and AirCougar is out of mana. It's safe jumping in and just getting away after. What a great play by Uzzy.
What a great comeback from SoaR, because they could have easily lost that Gold Fury. Uzzy respawns, finds the teleport, manages to clean up. He also had the Wrath.
We're seeing again though, SoaR Gaming getting an early lead, but not being able to fully capitalize on it.
Right, I feel like their calling is a little bit wonky right now. That was way too forced. When the right side got ganked, they were not around the goal for you, but they still wanted to force it, so they went to it, really delayed, and started it, and basically way overforced it.
That's why we saw Eager manage to get that initial spark, but then Eager took too long to commit to it, but now Jellly getting caught out of position, 1-on-3. I'm a monster.
Lands onto Jellly. StormyRays though is the one that gets the kill. AirCougar getting a lot of poke down onto the members of SoaR Gaming, but again, a really good pick there from SoaR, and myflin uses his ultimate expecting the knock-up.
And this is what I like with the Terra Scylla combo. Terra have so much lockdown potential. She have a root and a stun, and with a Scylla, that's going to be easy. And the heal, misplaced.
SoaR is going to be able to start the Gold Fury. Uzzy trying to zone out 3 from Eager. We also see Chapo coming around behind, trying to go onto AirCougar.
Uzzy has the cage available, looking to zone out the members of Eager. There's the Terra ultimate. They're looking for AirCougar here. Can they kill him before the Sanctuary runs out? There's the immunity frames as well. They're still chasing really hard here. There's the Fear No Evil. The cage comes down. AirCougar's down as well. The cage onto Delta Marine. The jump. So much damage. Caliber gets the kill, but Dwurst is here. Great purification from Caliber. Dwurst taking so much damage. In jumps Chapo. Dwurst gets the Wrath, but there's nowhere for him to run to. SoaR Gaming, 3 kills, and here's the Gold Fury.
I absolutely love love the way SoaR is using the Terra ultimate, pre-using it so they can catch up to anybody. The Odin was following AirCougar, waiting to get his free up so he could ultimate. And then Delta Marine stacking up with AirCougar, and both of them getting stuck in that ultimate.
Uzzy had the best ultimate in this whole entire set right
ultimate.
there. He found AirCougar, he found Delta Marine, and this is what's allowing SoaR now to get back into this game, into the set.
But not only did he get those two players, he also locked the other players off so that he couldn't go into the Team SoaR, so they had all the free space they needed.
Finally, we're seeing an actual lead for SoaR. 5,000 experience, 5,000 gold. What do they need to do now to capitalize on this? Actually,
Chapo, the solo lane between Chapo and myflin, they're going to have to disengage from that one, forcing out the purification after that Fear No Evil.
I mean, that looked like it was going to be bad for Chapo, but he actually forcing the beast on myflin. That's great.
Still trying to do more damage after that disengage. Uzzy could look for some damage after his tankiness. He does have the Breastplate of Valor, but the ultimate coming out, disengaging. Now he's caught inside the cage. He could potentially chase this, but not with the speed buff.
No, Uzzy not going aggressive there is a great call because Teamaker is coming to the solo lane now, trying to look for that pick, but Dwurst seeing the back, so he's just going too far.
We have seen the SoaR Reaver come out from Shalva, like you said. Chapo and Brochacho looking for Dwurst here, but really just trying to clear up the wave. But as I was saying, Shalva's picked up the SoaR Reaver. Somehow, though, we find him behind Delta Marine.
Yeah, and now he's finally ahead. He got the SoaR Reaver online, so we're really going to be looking at the one-shot onto Jellly, as they've been doing 4 times now.
Just now hitting level 15 is Shalibur, catching up to Delta Marine. As long as these team fights still go in the way of SoaR, we'll start seeing the gap favoring Shalibur, and that's very scary considering you're a Scylla. Once you start maxing out these abilities, you start getting more magical power.
Brochacho taking a little bit of damage there, but going to be able to heal himself up there with his Monolith. And what I like coming out from SoaR Gaming at the moment is they're starting to get some anti-heal online. We see the Brawler's Beat Stick coming out of Chapo. We see the start of what's likely to be a Pestilence on Uzzy. We even see this Tier 2 Civil Talisman on Brochacho, leaving the option open for him to either go into a Pestilence or a Heartwood Amulet.
And I like that the Terra when Sprint are not weakening Curse because they have the Odin to luck to get that anti-healing anyway, so it's a fine pickup getting
SoaR just bullying the rest of Eager away from that Tier 1 tower. No response whatsoever. It seems they were more focused and worried about Uzzy on the right-hand side.
And in these 5v5 fights, Team Eager needs to be stacked. With the Batz on the table, he will be able to force at least 4 beats every time.
Oh,
No
excellent ultimate there from Chapo. I'm a Monster doesn't connect, but it forces out the Sanctuary of myflin. Great stun there from Brochacho. myflin taking so much damage. Shalva chunks him down. Delta Marine gets his sniper, but he's trapped in the cage with Uzzy. Chapo gets a kill. Chapo gets a double kill. Dwurst locked in place. There's the crush. Lawbringer over the wall, but there's not enough space here for Dwurst. Uzzy chasing him down under the tower, but he manages to save himself behind the Tier 2.
They found 3 easy kills. They bullied Dwurst away. AirCougar, though, is left alone on the left for a little bit. Gets the Tier 1. If they don't handle him, he will grab that Tier 2 of himself.
If this was game 2, Chapo would have gone in for that kill, but he finally figured after playing too aggressive, do not get too excited. We got a small lead. We're going to get towers for this. Just stay calm.
A big factor is the fact that Jellly, still level 11, doesn't have his second relic online. No Phantom, no one getting away from Uzzy's ultimate.
Right, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to go for the Phantom or he's going to go for the sprint so they can juke inside the ring.
At this point, you have to go for the Phantom. You
I would
got to
go for
get
the
out of the cage. You have a Raw, you have the Soul. How else are you going to get out? If your jump is down for myflin, if your ultimate's down for Dwurst, you can't allow this Odin ultimate to dictate the pace of the game.
Yeah, and right now also just finding the good ultimates. He got the Sylvanus and the Ra in this one as well. He's just finding very good ultimates.
The follow-up is just so perfect. The way that last team fight started, we saw the fact that myflin's purification was still down at that point. We saw the Fear No Evil. The rest of the team started to collapse and help out myflin, but because of the fact that it got so close, now all of a sudden everybody's next to Uzzy, everybody getting caged in. I would like to see Eager wait a little bit longer. If somebody's in danger, that's good, but you don't want to put the rest of your team in danger trying to bail that one individual out.
There's so much synergy in SoaR's team comp in this game. You know, you've got the Odin cage, the Fear No Evil coming out of Batz, the Scylla, Crush, and Ultimate. You know, it's kind of the story of what console was last year. Lots of big area of effect, big circle abilities.
It's working out at this point for SoaR, and heading into the 22-minute mark, They got a little bit of a lead now, over 8,000. They're still looking for more, though.
Dwurst hit by the Iron Monster, taking so much damage. Shalaba is tearing through Eager at the moment with this Soul Reaver.
Oh, he's not done yet. He's feeling himself. He's going to get the crush just to see how much damage he does. This is more of a like, hey, I could do this. What are you going to do?
Just showing presence. But this is Shalaba from ahead finally, doing so much damage. And this is what what SoaR want to do right now. They want to force and they want to get the picks and they want to go back to the objective.
They got the pick onto the Soul Laner. Dwurst nowhere to be found, and that's going to allow SoaR to start up the Fire Giant, but StormyRays taking so much damage in the process.
Oh, he's knocked up. Knocked up there, myflin pulls him in, Delta Marine gets him with a Celestial Beam, AirCougar takes some damage from Uzzy here, but he gets the immunity frames off just in time, and now SoaR are gonna be forced back here unless they can find a pick. Soul Reaver onto myflin, Chapo gets some damage down as well, but myflin's gonna be fine. Delta Marine will have some healing in just a second.
So disappointed by ElSoarchapo. They're getting knocked up by the Fire Giant and into the Awilix ult.
You can't allow that to happen. You bait the Fire Giant, but you bait it for too long, and that's going to allow Dwurst now to make his revival and make an impact in the rest of this team fight.
They have the Cupid and the Terra heals. They can just go out and in all the time and keep healing. They're not using the heals that they should do right now.
Not at all, but we see the level difference at this point in time between Chapo and myflin, almost hitting level 20 for the Hun Batz, and with the purification being down, I guarantee you that was called because that was used off of the back of the root from Shalaba.
Gold Fury started up here already at about 50% health. No one from Eager even in the area. Delta Marine might spot this one out. Is he going to go for the snipe here? Crush comes through, snipe comes through, but it's just a little bit too late.
And that's going to allow SoaR to grab themselves the third Gold Fury of the game. Over 10,000 gold in the lead.
And that was the safer call coming from SoaR, right? That they had the wall control on the left-hand side. They did not have a D1 on the Fire Giant, so Team Eager had the control over that.
Oh, going on to AirCougar, forcing the purification. AirCougar just going to casually walk back into safety, though.
And Chapo's like, all right, I got your beads, now just move on.
They want to dive. They're going to find the root, the Sanctuary coming into place. The crush connects. Easy pick.
Chapo gets credited with a kill there. Delta Marines here hits the Celestial Beam onto Shalaba, but there's a lot of sustain here. As we were just talking about tricks with the Cupid and the Terra, myflin caught in the cage with Uzzy, jumps on top of him, but the Sanctuary immunes all the damage.
No problem for myflin. He has the speed buff to be able to get away. The jump's still on cooldown. Left-hand side, though, Tier 2 tower still being aggressed. They want to try to extend their lead. They got AirCougar dead for another 30 seconds. You have the sustain from StormyRays, have the sustain from SoaRchapo. Let's go for this Tier 2.
Being started up, Celestial Beam actually manages to hit onto Chapo, but he's got the Cupid Hearts to keep him healthy and the Terra Monolith as well, so nothing really Eager can do here.
No, and I like the call from Eager here, giving it up. AirCougar is their main damage source right now, so just leaving it is the perfect call. They would not be able to fight them right now. And this is just a weird combo for Eager overall. They only have a really good damage, and that's onto AirCougar. The rest is like not 100% confirmed damage. Sometimes the Awilix can't get in. Ra is not 100% confirmed damage. Sylvanus overall low damage on a support.
You have to rely on
And then
just
it's a
too
boost.
many different factors.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dwurst has to get the perfect Fearless to set up his teammates. You're relying more on Jellly's ultimate to be able to confirm some snipes, and if Delta Marine doesn't hit those snipes, that's going to be problematic.
We talked before about the relic that we wanted to see Jellly go, and we said it was possibly either the Phantom or a Sprint, and he didn't go the Phantom.
That could cost his team the third game to allow SoaR a little bit of a momentum coming back into the set because, like I mentioned before, the cages from Uzzy have been such a big staple to the success of the teamfight wins from SoaR, especially with Chapo's ultimate.
It is able, when you have the sprint, you can juke a little bit better in the ring, so that might be good. But the Cupid ult is just confirmed damage, and I don't know about it. I would have liked to see the Phantom there.
I would have as well. We see in mid lane SoaRchapo getting knocked up. No one really to follow up, though. Eager getting bullied away from the Fire Giant. SoaR still having an advantage, but we saw what happened last time. They tried to bait the Fire Giant. myflin trying to get some gold back into his team's pocket with a split push.
SoaR should defend this mid lane right now. Team Eager does have a Hawk as well, so this is really risky call.
Really close, though. It's less than 50% health.
Uzzy jumping in towards Dwurst. There's the Terra ultimate as well. Lawbringer comes down. SoaR Gaming take the Fire Giant. Dwurst taking a lot of damage here in the cage. Chapo gets the kill. myflin's going to secure the Tier 2 tower in the mid, but the rest of his team might fall down if he's not careful. Jellly locked in place. 4-man ultimate here from the support of Team Eager. SoaRchapo can't get him with the wall. I'm a monster. Shalaba's looking for it. Shalaba hits it, but Uzzy's the one that gets the kill. myflin still split pushing here in the mid lane, but SoaR's going to take a Phoenix.
And SoaR doesn't care. They're just going to take the Phoenix and end this game. They're still in the mid lane.
They're going to get the right side side. Phoenix, they're going into the Titan room. They have the Fire Giant on all 5 members. myflin is not here. The snipe comes out. The Titan is less than 50% health. SoaR get the first win of their set.
This set is not over by any means possible. SoaR Gaming coming back brilliantly in this game.
SoaR getting just a little bit of momentum now is going to do huge for them, and it just seems like it was the Zeus doing trouble for them.
This is what happens in a best of 5 set. Adaptations are being made in picks and bans. Batz was beautifully picked. They allowed the Raw to go through on purpose just to get Uzzy better cages.
And that is also what I was saying with the scrims. SoaR have done nothing but doing the same as they did in scrims. Eager probably did something else. Now they're adapting, doing something else, and that's why they probably won this game.
And we saw them there able to capitalize off their early lead, get the momentum back in their favor, whereas previously this set was all Eager, but that's going to do it here for the casting. Yes, for now, analysts, take it away.
SoaR Gaming has fought back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to a game 4. All right, so welcome back to the Analyst Test. Lots to talk about. First and foremost, I'm just going to come out flatly and say it. We were wrong. Okay, that was, you know, we'll bite that.
I'm happily wrong, though.
Happily wrong.
Happily wrong. Yes. SoaR, I think they definitely, like Trixie was saying, they made the necessary adaptation. They recognized, you know, Zeus, hey, maybe that guy is not really something we want to keep going against. And I think that it helped drastically because it is a lot easier for the Odin pick to actually find success with those cages.
Yeah, the Odin wasn't really working in the first 2 games. They played much better around the cage in this 3rd game. I thought they played their comp very well. And like I said, SoaR is a momentum team. They feed off the energy in the environment. So once they get rolling, it's a hard train to stop.
Yeah, so Chapo came to life. I think that was very important. They really needed that confidence booster. I think them going out 3-0 is just not the way that anyone would have wanted this SoaR team to fall in a grand final if they were to fall. But with the current state and how this is looking here, still, I do have to wonder, like, the Cupid picks and all that, because one of the interesting things that everyone was, like, kind of chatting about back here was, if you look at this draft and you're a PC player, you're like, oh, yeah, Eager wins. Like, 10 out of 10, do it again, right? But yet, SoaR makes it work. Why? Who was that on the back of, Zaxi?
That game for me, it was Chapo. As you see there, it was Chapo on the Batz. I mean, he played Batz to perfection that game. His ults were beautiful. His jumps, he hit every jump slow on the targets, especially on Jellly. He hit so many jump slows. Just the jump slow that was setting up Shalibur's ults so that he could confirm his ult. And it was really Chapo for me that was just facilitating, setting everything up, and I would not mind to see a first pick Batz here in this next game.
Well, that's exactly what happened for this one. Maybe history repeat itself. It has a tendency to do so with these 2 teams, you know, given how the drafting has panned out here. So they went with SoaR went with the Zeus ban out, brought out the Ra. How do you feel? Let me restate this. Do you think they're worried about Ra that much, given how this game played out?
If they get Odin, or if Odin's available, I don't think there's much concern going forth with the Raw pick. If I were Eager, I'd probably look to try and prioritize healing composition because it is something that they do favor, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe choose to go ahead and ban out that Odin. That way it would eliminate any kind of threats that they would have because they can probably expect to lose Zeus every single time in the banning phase. I just don't think SoaR is going to possibly allow that to go through unless they can take it for themselves. Yeah. But I think for the most part, I don't think SoaR is really much to fear from a healing composition as long as it's just, you know, a Ra and a Sylvanus on their end and not like a Zeus. Because the issue with Zeus is just he can peel for himself inside of a ring due to the fact that he has his ultimate coming down on him, so it's much harder to get AoE burst damage off onto him. But in this game, you know, you just have a Ra heal. That's not doing a whole lot of damage to you. And so it just gave SoaR a lot more opportunities inside that cage to go ahead and, you know, punish.
Yeah, and what's even more insane about this is 3rd time's a charm on that Odin, right? Didn't work once, you know, Uzzy, he got the hands. Then we went to game 2. Uzzy once again just got slapped up a little bit, really couldn't find much there at all. And then we, you know, because that was mostly the Nike there too. And I think that's another thing as well. We should mention that. The removal of Nike on solo from Dwurst definitely opened things up for that Odin. I would expect them to do the same thing again here, Zaxi.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see the Zeus gone, and then Nike probably in the second phase gone. If they do want to run that Odin again, just so Uzzy doesn't get completely bullied in lane. But really, the story of Game 3 was SoaR finally adapting. Their games 1 and 2, they came in acting like it was scrims, banning regular scrim gods. But here on the stage, it's mini metas. Well, you talk about mini metas. A mini meta develops, and the Zeus was just too potent. So in this mini meta, you got to ban the Zeus. I want to see the Nike also banned away in the second phase. And if SoaR continues to adapt, but it'll be interesting to see how Eager adapts, because I know Eager are all very high IQ players, and if they weren't feeling that Odin last game, they're just like, no, we don't want to deal with it. I expect it to be banned away.
How do you guys feel the Hunter battle went there? We recall AirCougar picked up Soul. Everyone was like, well, that's good. That's really, really good. That fits beautifully into this comp. That actually was their second to last pick. And then immediately after that, they picked up the gotta love, Cupid. And we saw what Cupid could do against Aware. That was Aware. This is Eager. Much different situation now. And Cupid also got the hands in game 2, so that wasn't nice either. How do you feel that Hunter battle played off? Taco, we'll start with you.
I think one of the most important things to look at in that game is that I feel like AirCougar's item prioritization was pretty poor, in that you don't need a Wing Blade on a Soul, considering that you already have your Disapparate, which will allow you to get out of a Cupid or any kind of immediate danger for the most part for the early game. So I feel like he was rushing that far too early into the build. Pretty unnecessary of an item pickup. And then I think Words as well played the matchup a lot smarter than what he has been in these past 2 games. He's been playing it way too aggressive was the main issue that I was having, and I felt like he was getting baited a lot with the previous game on Cupid and like his game with Wei. But now that he's kind of slowed down his pacing, taken a little bit more sensibility in his actions and positioning, he's finding himself in favorable, areas, and he's getting off the important Cupid ults that were, helping to cripple Eager, and I think overall he just did a great job.
Yeah.